Nancy Zwicky. I'm a dietitian with Northwestern Medicine, the West Region, and we're here today at the Living Well Cancer Resource Center, and we're kicking off Spirit Week. We're doing today's Taco Tuesday, and it's part of to help kick off Bridge Walk. So Taco Tuesday is here to stay. The way it all came about, it was back in like 1979 in Rapid City, South Dakota. It was at a Taco John's, and they coined the phrase, live every day like it's Taco Tuesday. So it's a fun little term, and we hear it all the time now. So today we're going to be making about 3 different tacos, and then my coworker Mary is going to then do taco alternatives, and we'll end with a dessert. So it should be fun. So tacos are very easy, they're versatile, they can be nutritious, and they're economical too. So today I'm doing this, let's see, it's called chicken lime tacos with a watermelon salsa. So there's a variety of tacos out there. There's flank steak tacos, fish tacos, shrimp tacos, black bean and corn, chickpea and zucchini, pork tacos, salmon tacos, on and on and on. Anything you do, you can turn into a taco pretty much. Another little side note is if you like gardening, some people are planting a salsa garden, which is kind of fun. And we're pretty much getting out of the growing season to start something like that. But for next year, you can have tomatoes, different peppers, onion, garlic, herbs like cilantro, basil, and oregano would all be nice. So I saw that and I thought, I like that idea. So today I marinated the chicken. It was in lime juice and cumin and a lot of lime juice. So I just soaked the chicken breasts in that for about 30 minutes, and then I just put it under the broiler, and then I've cut it up. You do want to take a temperature of chicken to make sure it's done correctly. You want it to be 165 degrees. And when you handle chicken, you want to be really careful. You don't want to be washing chicken and then putting in the pan. You don't want to risk getting that drippings around because they can carry salmonella. And that's why you cook it to 165 degrees, because it will kill that pathogen then, or bacteria, whatever you want to call it. And when you have your raw chicken, your cutting board, once you get that chicken in the oven, then you wash down the counter with a chlorine bleach and your cutting board and knife, everything that you use, so you have a fresh surface when the chicken comes out. So you want to be super careful. I like wearing gloves too, because that way, you're a little bit more careful and can remove them. So we've made this salsa. It's using fresh watermelon that you just cut up. You've got English cucumber and red onion, and then a little cilantro in here. The thing about watermelon and cucumbers, they contain a lot of water. Over 90% of those items contain water. So if you are looking for ways to hydrate and you're getting sick of just drinking water, you can use these fruit and vegetable to get some of your hydration needs. Now I'm also going to show you a little bit of the different tortillas we have. So the authentic tortilla, it would be a little bit bigger, is a white corn tortilla. That's the authentic taco. And what they used to do, they used to marinate flank steak with different herbs and then kind of shred it and heat up these little tortillas, put the meat on here, and top it with white onion and some cilantro. But we've kind of gone, a little bit more creative and added all different kinds of salsa. So fruit is really nice in a salsa. You can do peach and mango, pineapple, along with a jalapeno, red onion, and the cilantro makes a nice little salsa. So we have a whole wheat taco or tortilla. So that's nice if you're trying to get a little bit more fiber in your diet. And these little guys are all called street tacos. And I like the street tacos. They're a lot of fun. You see a lot of restaurants using this size. And it's mainly because you can eat a few more than just a couple of these big tacos. So it's really fun. This is a flour tortilla. It's a little thicker, more pliable. This is white corn, and then this is yellow corn. So the white corn and yellow corn are gluten-free, if that's a concern for you, but the flour one would contain, and the whole wheat would contain gluten. I also have another variation. It's called a tostado. So it's a corn tortilla that's real crispy. It's like eating a taco chip, but it's like open face then, and it's easy to pick up and chew, and it's kind of like an open face sandwich. Now, there's different ways to heat up tortillas. So I have, my favorite way is just a little bundle. I just use a foil pack, and I put the different tortillas in here. And then there's like a little steam that comes off, and I'm just gonna lay them out right here. And they're really nice and pliable, and but you can also heat them up in a skillet. You could spray it with a little oil, such as this. Oops, this one's a little, but you can just put a little oil mister on here and spray it, and then just heat it up, usually about 15 seconds on each side, and then continue that process until it's the right heat that you want. And you can also use a microwave safe dish and just put them in the microwave, and you can do 15 seconds and then continue on to see that it's the right temperature that you want. So now to assemble these tacos, we're just gonna put some of this chicken right on top. So see, it's very lean. It just has a little pepper on it, but it was marinated in the lime juice and cumin. And you know, with chicken, you could like make several chicken breasts on the grill, use them for a meal, and then with the leftover, use them for the tacos too. You don't have to just start from scratch and do the marinade. And then we're going to just add a little bit of the salsa. Here we go. So we're just going to top it like this. And these are all really represent summer. When you see watermelon and cucumbers, the red onion. They do sometimes say if you wanted to add a little salt to the watermelon, but in the recipe it said don't do that until just before serving. I didn't do it because I don't like to add salt to a lot of things, but it will pull the water out. With watermelon, you can make a beverage with it. You can do the salsa or eat it just fresh, but you can also turn it into popsicles too if you'd like. So I hope that you try this recipe and that you enjoy it. All right, thank you. All right, we're back. We're going to do another taco. It's the grilled fish tacos with the chipotle lime dressing. All right, so I'm using tilapia today, and I purchased it frozen, and then I left it overnight in the bag in the refrigerator to thaw. And it doesn't take long to thaw, and it's really nice. They come individually frozen, which is great because you could just use what you need and then keep the rest in the freezer then. The white fish is low in calories. It's quick to cook. It's you just want to cook it enough to flake it. So what I started off, we marinated it, and I will read the ingredients because there was quite a few things in the marinade. It was a little bit of olive oil, white vinegar, lime juice, lime zest, just a dot of honey, fresh garlic, cumin, chili powder, black pepper, Old Bay seasoning, and then a little bit of like a sriracha sauce too. So you mix that together, you put the fish in there, and then I just put in the refrigerator. It only takes about, maybe an hour to marinate. You can do a little longer if you want, but that really was all it needed. And then I just put it on parchment paper, and I kept it more in the middle of the oven because we wanted to turn it on to broil. I wouldn't get the parchment paper close to the burners if it was too high up because then it could catch on fire, but I kind of kept it more in the middle and it worked out fine. Doesn't take long to cook, you just want it to flake when it's done. You do want to get about 2 servings of fish a week. You would like to get a little bit more of the fattier fish like salmon and halibut, cod are all good. But the white fish is low in calories and can contribute the omega-3 fatty acids. All right, so we will get out our tortillas, another little pouch, and we're going to lay them out. These are the street tacos again, the white corn. Oops. Here's one. And then we're just going to kind of chunk up the fish a little bit. and lay it right on the taco shell. And then we're gonna, actually I think what I'm gonna do is put a little of the slaw on first. So we're using purple cabbage, green cabbage, which are cruciferous vegetables, and it's nice to get the purple color in there too, because we do try to eat the rainbow, and purple is a little bit harder to get in your diet. You know, you've got blueberries and eggplant, but it adds a lot of bursts of color to your taco, and it's just plain. There's no dressing on it. So it's just like instead of salad, like lettuce, we're gonna use cabbage and then some carrots too. So I like that we're using the raw cabbage because it gives it a nice crunch. All right, actually I'll just put here. All right, and now we're gonna just kind of chunk up the fish a little bit and put that on top. So you can see it's got that nice seasoning all over. All those spices and herbs we put in the marinade then stay on the fish while you cook it. Fish tacos are really popular. They're something different, but a lot of people are ordering them because they are not greasy and good for you too. Okay, and then we can put a little bit of sauce. Now this recipe here, it called for mayonnaise, but I substituted yogurt, which is great. It didn't really make any difference at all. That way you're cutting down on fat. It was a low-fat Siggi's yogurt. I like to use Siggi's. It's got a little higher protein content. And then we just added the other seasonings. Let me just tell you what was in that. Again, it was a lot of things. Adobe sauce with chipotle. Let's see. Fresh lime juice, lime zest, cumin, chili pepper, and Old Bay seasoning again, and then a little bit of pepper. So that's in the sauce. And we can use extra because it's all good stuff. And then a little tomato, which are coming in right now, which is wonderful. Everyone loves their tomatoes. And then we're gonna top it with a little cilantro too. And did you know that like about 10% of the population finds cilantro to taste like soap? And it is an ancestral thing. It's usually Caucasians and Asians have that gene that it tastes like soap to them. My mother was like that. She did not like cilantro. They said the story about Julia Child when she was cooking. If there was cilantro on her food, she'd take it out and throw it on the floor because she must have had that gene too. All right, so we're also going to show you we're going to add a little guacamole to this as well. So when you pick out an avocado, you just want it's all about your hand. You just want like a gentle squeeze to it, like a little bit. You don't want it to really be overly ripe. So everyone has their way of cutting an avocado. I like to just do it this way. I go all the way around, and then I go all the way around again. I'll take this little thing off. And then I just peel it back. My son was showing me a trick too where he takes a bowl with like kind of a grate, like a rack, and then he just holds the skin and just presses the avocado onto that, and it just mushes all into the bowl. So it saves you a little bit of the mashing. I just do that. I like to use gloves when I do it because then I can just peel them off and throw them away. Avocados are really good for you. They're good for brain health. They're high in omega-3 fatty acids, and they are high in fiber, but they have a very mild flavor to them. But you can always doctor them up, which we will, with like red onion and cilantro and garlic to add a little more flavor. But sometimes patients who are going through cancer treatment sometimes struggle with their appetite, and they tend to lose weight sometimes. And we like to encourage use of avocado because it gives you a healthy fat and some extra calories, and it's not like a real strong vegetable. So eating a bowl of guacamole would be really good. Or sometimes just like a slice of avocado with some lime juice and a little dot of salt on a saltine cracker can be a nice little snack too. And there's so many things you can do with avocado. You can make avocado toast. I like to take fettuccine pasta and boil it up, and then I saute zucchini on the side, and then I just add, to the hot pasta, I add avocado, the zucchini, little garlic, and it's delicious. Top it with a little Parmesan, and it can be a dinner meal. Whoops, okay, so I'm gonna now just mash this. You're doing that. I want to add some lime juice too. I thought I was missing my gloves, but I have deep pockets, so I just put these on again. And we're going to add some lime juice. I'm going to cut the lime in half, and we'll use our citrus press, and then squeeze the lime juice right onto it. Prevents it from browning. A lot of times you want to do avocados right before serving. I mean, they will last a little bit if they're covered sitting out, but I like to do it right away. We're going to add a little red onion chopped up, and we're going to mince some garlic too. I like using garlic. It gets you away from adding salt to give flavor, where you're using garlic and onion, herbs. That's our way we like to do things over here at Living Well. For our classes, we promote the Mediterranean diet or lifestyle, which is a very healthy way of eating. And we try to not have a lot of salt in our recipes. Yeah, so we're just going to mash this up more. You could even add tomato if you'd like. And it just is a wonderful little accompaniment to your tacos. Okay. All right, so we're just going to put a little spoonful with these tacos here. That'll be the little finishing touch to the taco. All right. A lot of people are using these little tacos for entertaining purposes, like having a little dinner party or a reception, and using the tacos because they're easy to serve, they don't cost a lot, and it promotes some social interaction too. So I hope you try these fish tacos, enjoy them, and the next taco we're going to be doing is called Bang Bang Shrimp, so we'll be back shortly. So Bang Bang Shrimp is very popular in restaurants right now. It's served as an appetizer, and the sauce is where the Bang Bang comes in. It's got a little heat to it. So, of course, I had to alter the recipe to make it a little bit more healthy, but I'll show you what we did. Again, I used the yogurt in place of mayonnaise, and then you add sriracha sauce, and then this Thai roasted red chili paste, and a little garlic, an onion, and I just mixed it all up, and there is a little heat to it, but it's nice. It kind of sneaks up afterwards. So the shrimp, we're not going to put them in a batter like they're supposed to. You usually soak them in buttermilk and then coat them with cornstarch and then fry them, but we're like, we want to get away from that. So I just have shrimp on a little skewer, and I just squeeze lemon juice on it. And I also use the spritzer. I like the spritzer because you can control the oil that way. You can just do a light spritz and you don't get very much. So it keeps the calories down. So to assemble these little tacos, so we're going to still use those white corn tortillas. And we're going to lay them on the platter. Alrighty. And now we're going to just put a little slaw down first. You create a base, and again, it's that red cabbage and the carrots and green cabbage. Gives a nice little crunch, and there's nothing added to it. It's just very plain and colorful. Okay. All right, and now I figured I will just leave the skewer in the shrimp. They'll be easier to serve, and then the person who's going to consume them can just slide it right out. They have these little tiny, it's not a toothpick, it's just a little bit longer skewer, but they're really nice for making like little appetizers, like a caprese appetizer or antipasta appetizer, but I thought, oh, they'd work perfect with the shrimp. You can soak those little bamboo skewers in water for a bit, because we do put this under the broiler. And again, I used parchment paper, but I kept it in the middle of the rack so it wasn't too close to the flame to heat that up. So now we're going to add the sauce. Now I could, if you want to just like swirl it on, well, we could try that. I would just put it in a little baggie right in this cup. And then we're going to secure the end like this. And then we just cut the end. Oops. Okay. And then I'm going to top it a little bit first. Little red onion, cilantro, maybe some green onion too. It's easier to use my hands. Okay, and now we're just going to kind of drizzle a little bit, so something like that. And you can be a little more generous with it because it's just yogurt. It's not like a lot of fat or anything. And then we'll just put a little tomato on it too. And you know, shrimp, it's low in calories, it's high in phosphorus, it's good for your bones, your teeth. Does have cholesterol, but it's something that you're not going to be eating all the time. So you can, you know, everyone should be eating in moderation, not one food all the time. So it's okay. And they are low in calories, and there's a lot of fun things you can do with shrimp. So let me just see. Yeah, they're just a rich source of protein, and they can add to the Mediterranean diet as well, another fish serving. That's it. So enjoy.
Hi, my name is Mary Zupke. I'm a registered dietitian at Northwestern Medicine. We're here at Living Well, continuing with our Taco Tuesday celebration. And I'm going to talk today about taco alternatives. So we don't necessarily have to do the typical taco, although we had some great ideas earlier with all different kinds of variations. But we're going to talk about some other things that you can do to celebrate Taco Tuesday. So the first one is Taco Tuesday pizza. So I have a couple of different crusts here. We have a flatbread crust that's easy to use and very quick. It's already prepared. And you can get some whole grain ones, or you can get the regular. And then we also have a lower carb alternative here, which is a cauliflower crust. So this cauliflower pizza crust is only 1 serving of carbs, and very nice to switch up your carbs if you don't want to do too many in one meal. So what we're going to do is, we have to kind of use what we have in the kitchen sometimes. So you can either get pizza sauce and put that right onto your crust if you want. That's no problem. But you can also, and you can see here that we have some pizza on there, pizza sauce on there. But what we're going to do is also, if you want to just get pureed tomatoes, you can do that and just mix in your chili powder and your cumin. So you don't necessarily have to have pizza sauce. Use what's in your kitchen. All right? So with the alternative crust, what we're going to do is we're going to use the turkey sausage today as our meat. So we're going to add the turkey sausage here. For these, we cooked the crust ahead so that it would be ready to show you that they are a little bit of a different consistency. But you can do the turkey sausage underneath the cheese and put that in as well. And turkey sausage has about half the fat of regular sausage, so it's a really nice alternative. It's easy to use. You can use it on pizza, you can use it with your salads, you can use it even as a taco filling. But it's giving you a little bit of an alternative and a little bit more of that Mediterranean style diet that we always talk about here at Living Well. So once we have the turkey sausage on there, you can either do a little bit additional cheese and put it in the oven and let it cook a little bit. And then once it comes out, you want to add your fresh taco ingredients. Okay. So one of the things that's a big component of Mexican cooking is black beans. So what we have today are some delicious black beans that I did in the crock pot, and they're very easy to do. You just need a bag of black beans, and then you add an onion and some garlic, and you can see here that after 8 hours in the crock pot, you have these delicious black beans. So they're very low in sodium, and that's all you need to do. You just cover them with water. You need about 1.5 quarts of water with 1 bag of black beans, 1 onion chopped up, and then about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. You do it overnight, and the next day you're ready to go. So we have some of those delicious black beans here, and they're super easy, so you don't have to worry about all the soaking and all the different steps. They're easy to do at home. A lot less expensive. So you want to just add that to your pizza. And you can either add it before you bake it or after, but these are cooked and ready to go. So you can add those in, and then you don't want to add the other ingredients, the lettuce and the avocado and the tomato, until after it's cooked, because then they'll wilt. But now you can add those in, and you can add it just how how you want. So add in some of the lettuce, and you can see we did that here. And then we're going to add a little bit of the fresh cilantro. The fresh herbs, as we talked about earlier, are so healthy and help us eat without a lot of added sodium. So that's excellent for that Mediterranean diet. And so then we want to add a little bit of avocado. And you can even add some taco sauce, or you can do just some sriracha sauce. But what a quick, easy way to have a taco alternative. So we have the turkey sausage, we have our fruits and vegetables, and you can add salsa or taco sauce, you can do the low-fat crust, you can do the cauliflower crust that's lower carb, and you can do a lot of cheese alternatives as well. The Chihuahua cheese is also another nice cheese that you could use. I use the low-fat mozzarella because it is definitely lower in fat and still part of that low-fat Mediterranean plan. But if you wanted to use this, just make sure that it's pasteurized. Sometimes these are not pasteurized, and then we have a food safety risk. All right, so that's it for our taco pizza today. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you shortly for another taco alternative. Hi, I'm back with another Taco Tuesday alternative, and now we're going to talk about a taco salad. We really need to get those greens in and our vegetables in the Mediterranean plan, so we're going to use a lot of greens today for this recipe. The other thing we're going to do is kind of a vegetarian option. So the filling is actually made with quinoa. And it's simple to do. In fact, you can even buy quinoa already put together, where you just microwave it. It's already cooked, I mean. But with this, what we did was just cook the quinoa, and the recipe says to use the raw quinoa in here. But if you want to use the microwave one, you can do that. It worked out just perfect in here. So all we did was add some spices and some tomato paste. And really, when you taste it now, it tastes kind of like taco meat. And the consistency, as you can see here when I stir it, the consistency is a little bit chunky, kind of like taco meat. It's not exactly, but it is a good alternative, and it would be a lovely vegan alternative and another way to get some vegetarian protein in there. So we started with the quinoa, so we're going to add that to our salad here. We have a lovely bowl of romaine lettuce that's already chopped, and we're going to add the quinoa right to the center to make this beautiful salad. I like to make it in some rows so that we can see all the colors. It just makes a beautiful presentation. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our onions. Now these red onions, sometimes they can be a little strong. So a little trick that you can use is using a little bit of white vinegar and a tad bit of honey, or just a tad bit of sugar, and then you leave it for 15 minutes to set, and it kind of takes the bite off of that red onion. So the red onion will give us some of those red colors that we need, very high in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory, and it does give a little bit of kick and a little bit of texture to the salad. So we're going to add those on here. They don't taste really sweet. It just kind of takes the bite out of the onion a little bit. We also made some corn here that is just fresh corn and nice and juicy, and it's going to give us a little bit more color as well. So we're going to add that in. Because we have a lot of greens, this will kind of give us a little bit of starch to the meal. The quinoa does too. We don't want to overdo it with that, but it gives us some nice color, and it's always nice to have foods that are in season. So right now we are in that corn season. We got to take advantage of that corn while we have it. It's good to have foods that are locally grown. Then their nutrition is going to be really high. Same with tomatoes. We are in that tomato season, so we want to just add those fresh tomatoes to our salad there. How delicious. Those are really high in lycopene as well, so that's really good for men's health, but for all of us. Now, we are using some feta cheese today, and we're going to add that right on the side here. So as I talked about, the low-fat dairy is still part of the Mediterranean plan, but we don't want to overdo it. So sometimes, mix it up. Have some of your low-fat cheeses. Don't overdo it with the higher fat cheeses. Like a lot of times the low-fat mozzarella or the low-fat feta is going to be a little bit healthier for you than the cheddar, which we often see on tacos or taco salads. So for our topping, we're going to do a nice little crunchy topping with these corn tortillas. These are whole grain, and we're just going to slice them up, very small, little thin strips, and we're going to cut them kind of in half to make sure that we don't have too big of a chunk of tortilla in our mouth. And then we're going to saute them here in this olive oil. Turn it up just a little bit. And we're going to get them a little bit crispy. Now, olive oil is certainly part of the Mediterranean diet. We don't want to overdo it with any of the fats, but the olive oil is certainly a good way to go when you're cooking. These tortillas, since they're corn, they are whole grain, as I mentioned. And so even though they're adding a little bit of crunch, they're adding a whole grain crunch, so a whole grain carb. So we're just going to saute those a little bit. And then one little trick is adding a little spice to it. So we're going to add a little cumin while it's sauteing. And that's going to give it a little extra oomph. All right. So we add that cumin on there. You can see, I'm going to use my wooden spoon here. And then probably just 2 or 3 minutes on each side. And then they end up these nice little crunchy toppings. Now, if you buy these in the store, first of all, they're very expensive. And second of all, they might not have the spice that you want. And third, they're going to be higher in fat because they've usually fried them. So we're just doing a little bit of olive oil so we can control how much fat we're getting in it. And then we're just going to add those kind of to the top to give it that little crunch. Okay. So to top it off, we have a little bit of a lime avocado dressing. We're just going to put that around. And one thing I like about salads, especially in the summer, is that they're so colorful. You know, we talked about a little bit about eating from the rainbow, and what a great way to do it with this kind of salad. So your dinner is ready, and everyone will come to the table excited to eat this. One more thing I just wanted to mention, because we talked a little bit about the crock pot beans. So you can use these beans as a really quick meal alternative and have a burrito bowl or a taco bowl where you add black beans to some good brown rice. Brown rice will have 3 to 5 grams of fiber, whereas white rice will have 0 to 1. And for men, we need 35 grams of fiber a day. Women need 25, so we really need to work on getting those in. So you can do that and then add your tomatoes. And you can really add whatever if you want to add some of your quinoa tonight, because that's what we have, you can add that in as a little bit, another alternative. You can add your onions, you can add your tomatoes. And really, I like this meal because you can kind of use whatever you have in the fridge. And then maybe you want to add just a little bit of fresh avocado on the side. What a beautiful dinner alternative. You can use whatever meat you want. You can use whatever vegetables you have in the fridge. So these are a couple of quick, easy meals for Taco Tuesday. I hope you enjoy them. Hi, I'm back, and we're going to talk a little bit about dessert. It doesn't have to necessarily be a high-fat option. It can be a little bit sweet and maybe even naturally sweet. So today we're going to do some cinnamon chips, homemade chips, sort of. We're going to use them with our tortillas. And we're going to make 2 different kinds of fruit salsas. The one you see here is a cherry salsa, because we are in cherry season right now, and the cherries are delicious. So we're going to first talk about the chips that we're going to make. And what I have here are whole wheat tortillas. The white tortilla alternate has about 1 gram of fiber. These have about 5 grams of fiber. And the nice thing about fiber is that it does keep us full longer. So it helps with healthy weight, and we're part of the Mediterranean plan because it is a whole grain, so that's awesome as well. So what we're going to do is, if you want, you can use a knife and cut these in half. We're going to cut them in little what I call pizza slices. But if you have kids at home, you can also take your cooking shears and just cut right in the middle and make little pizza slices, just like you see here. See how that is? Very easy. So you do that, and then you're going to put them right here in the cookie sheet. And if you alternate them head to toe, kind of like that, then you can fit more on the cookie sheet. It's really important to have them flat. So you want to make sure you only have a single layer of tortillas on the cookie sheet. If you bunch them together, then they're not going to get as crispy, and the crispy is what we like. So then you're just going to take, this is an olive oil cooking spray, and you're just going to spray them lightly. And then you're going to add a little bit of cinnamon and sugar to that. And I have it in a bag here because at the end, after you bake them, you're going to put them right in the bag. So you add a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of sugar. And cinnamon is another anti-inflammatory food, so that's awesome. And then when they come out, you're going to pop them in this bag. And this is really fun for kids at home, but you just shake them to make sure they get a little bit of that cinnamon and sugar. We really don't talk about having a lot of sugar in our life, but this is a low-cal, high-fiber way to have a little something sweet and still have a healthy alternative. So that's how you make the chips. You really just cook them at 350 for about 10 to 12 minutes. When you first take them out, they may feel a little bit pliable, but they usually do firm up if you keep them in that single layer. All right, so that's the chips. Next, for the salsas, we're going to start with the cherry salsa. Now, you may think cherry salsa, that sounds really hard. Well, you can get frozen cherries, and then you're done, so you don't have to worry about it. But really, it doesn't take that long to get the pit out of the cherry. And what I like to do is just cut all the way around the cherry. Easy to just eat them whole. You don't have to worry about peeling them. Some of the larger cucumbers have a tougher skin and it's a little bit bitter. So you might want to peel those. But these are great and they're really easy to chop and add into our salsa. They're great for making pickles if you like making pickles. Those aren't very hard to do either if you have refrigerator pickles that you want to make. And the other thing that's nice about these is that you can stick them in your lunch, and they're really easy to have as a snack. So we just dice those up, put those in, and now for the secret ingredient in our salsa, balsamic. So balsamic really enhances fruits. You can use this as a dessert, just a bowl of berries and a little balsamic, and we're going to add a little bit of honey to that as well, and then stir it all up. And it's best if it sits for like 30 minutes before you consume it. All right, so our cherry salsa is our first salsa. Okay, so next we're going to make the strawberry blueberry salsa, and we have our blueberries and strawberries here in the bowl, and then we're going to add jicama. So jicama, if you haven't, it's used often in Mexican cooking, and if you haven't seen it, it comes in a brown bulbous kind of thing in the rutabaga section of the grocery store. And it's kind of hard to come by right now. So I could only find the sliced jicama, which will work great for our recipe, but it's, we have to kind of make do. So, so we're just going to chop up that jicama and add it to our berry salsa. Now, jicama has a lot of fiber as well, and it also may help with blood sugar control. So how nice that is. Blood sugar control, even if you're not talking about diabetes, is helpful for all of us, because when your blood sugar goes down, you're hungry and you may be eating unnecessarily. So it's nice to make sure that you're getting the fiber, you're having foods that help with blood sugar control, and this jicama is doing that, so yum. It also tastes, if you haven't tried it before, it's got a little bit of a natural sweet taste, so that kind of helps with our salsa as well. We are going to add just a little bit of jalapeno so we can have that in both of our salsas. And then the last thing is lime juice, and that's really it. It's very fresh. So we have it already put together here, and I saved our cantaloupe that we're using for our beverage, which I'll talk about in just a minute. And I thought, how nice, why don't we use our cantaloupe as a little dish for our salsa? It's so fresh, and it makes a beautiful color. Natural foods often give us that lovely color without doing anything to it. So how beautiful is that? And maybe we'll just garnish it with a little bit cilantro on the side there. And you're ready to go. So you have your cherry salsa and your blueberry strawberry jicama salsa with your cinnamon chips. So the only thing we need now is possibly a beverage. And what I have done here is just simply pureed that cantaloupe that you saw earlier and added a little bit of lime juice and then some coconut water. And so this is kind of a little mocktail that you can use for your celebrations. All right, so I hope you enjoy it. We have some fancy glasses because that's going to be helpful to make our celebration even more fun. So we're going to pour that in. And then don't forget the garnish. We just did some melon balls, some fresh cilantro, and a little slice of lime. All right, so there you go. Next, Nancy is going to talk to us a little bit about something chocolate.
Right, we're back for dessert. So we're going to make one of my favorite recipes. It's called dark chocolate avocado mousse. So I learned about this recipe probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I started looking at the ingredients and decided it called for dark chocolate, avocado, and then like cocoa powder and sugar, vanilla, and cinnamon. I thought, we can eliminate a few ingredients because I didn't want it to risk having a grainy texture. So this is what you do. You want to use a double boiler. So you can improvise. You can use a pan, put a little bit of water, and then put a glass bowl right in there. And you're going to melt the chocolate. So I'm using dark chocolate chips. I used 2 bags. And you're just going to let them melt in here. And then in the meantime, you're going to take avocados. I used probably about 6 or 7, maybe 8. I mashed up. And then once the chocolate's melted, then I'm going to add that avocado to it. And I use like maybe a teaspoon of vanilla, maybe a few shakes of cinnamon. I eliminated the cocoa powder and the sugar. I just didn't want it to have a grainy texture. And it's worked fine. So a lot of times we've served these just in a little cup with this chocolate mixture, a little bit of plain yogurt, and then some berries on top. But today, to go with the taco theme, I thought we need some kind of holder. So a local chocolate shop in Geneva donated these. They have a mold, and they made these little chocolate shot glasses out of dark chocolate. So it was really saved me a lot of time. But what I was going to do, before I knew that this was an opportunity, I would have taken the dark chocolate melted and brushed the inside of one of these little cups and let it harden, and then I would peel the paper back. But that can be a little tedious. So kind of have to research it more how I would make those cups on my own. But anyhow, they're done. So now we've got this chocolate mixture. I would take a hand mixer or a food processor and blenderize it because you want it really smooth. Now, I've been tempted to serve these at a dinner party and just serve them and get people's reaction. But I have learned that there are people that are allergic to avocado. So I always spill the beans and tell them what's in it, but it's okay. So I just filled this decorator. It has been sitting for a little bit, so I'm just hoping it's not going to give me trouble. Oh, no, it's okay. And I just pipe this mixture right into this chocolate here. Fill all the wells. And I was told not to put chocolate, these like little cups, in the refrigerator because moisture is not very good for chocolate. So they've been sitting out. I just made sure they were in air conditioning. And then I'm eliminating the yogurt because it would get too messy, and I'm just going to top it with a raspberry. You can use any kind of fruit you would like strawberry or blueberry, whatever you'd like, but I thought these fit in really nice. Now, chocolate does have some health benefits. It's on the Mediterranean diet or lifestyle, but we're not encouraging you eating a lot. So a lot of times if people are trying to cut down on sugar and sweets, they might even consider having like 2 small pieces of dark chocolate in the evening, and you just let it melt on your tongue. Don't chew it. Let it just savor, and that can take off that edge for more desire for more sweet things. So that's a good thing to have around. I would, if you are trying to cut down on sugars and sweets, I would kind of purge your pantry because it just seems like the more you eat sweets, the more that desire is there. And I feel it's the same with salt too. The more you use it, the more you want it. And so give your taste buds a chance to kind of alter themselves and not have that strong desire. You could also do like a chocolate dipped banana and freeze it, and that would be something to have on hand if you need something sweet. These are very rich, they're very decadent, and with the avocado, you're getting a healthy fat, but you know, it does have calories, so you don't want to eat too many. That's why I like this nice little size portion.
So we have a table set here for the festivities for our Taco Tuesday, and we're so happy you joined us today. We have noticed that research shows that if you sit down at the table, your kids and your adolescents are 50% more likely to have healthy food habits. So continue those by setting a beautiful table or maybe even just a little placemat. It can be handmade. So we have an example here of all the foods that we made today, and we're so happy you joined us. Happy Taco Tuesday.